Hey, this is Fernando coming to you from my home here in Geelong in Australia. I'm very happy to come on today. So it's about 2 in the afternoon, 2:30 Australian time. So that's a little bit later. You guys are about, yeah, it's quite late in the US, about 10:30 at night. So if you're watching the live, let me know if you're watching live. If you're watching the replay, just drop me a hashtag replay. Let me know you visited with me. I'll circle back. I'll acknowledge you for being on. But I have a very special message with you today. And that message is on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it for you to achieve your network marketing goals in the next 12 months? Now, if you've answered 10 out of 10, then this message is not for you. But that doesn't mean you don't have to watch the video, because I would encourage you to ask that question of your team, right? Your downline. Ask them on a scale of 1 to 10 how committed or how important it is for them to build or to achieve the network marketing goals. So let's talk about you, because it all starts with us first, right? So it starts with you. So let's say that you might be an 8 out of 10. And anywhere between 7 to 10 or 7 to 9, but not quite 10. Typically, when I hear people say that, is there's a number of reasons. Number one is because you may be uncertain as to how you're going to get there. And so it's a way that we tend to manage our emotions, manage our expectations, just in case it doesn't happen. We don't want to let ourselves down. We don't want to let our family down. We don't want to let our friends down or our team down, or maybe even your upline down, right? And so you might be like, look, I'm an 8 because it is important to me to achieve my goals, but it's not everything. At the end of the day, there's health and there's family and there's work and there's all these other things and there's children, or whatever it may be for you. But that's actually not the best way to look at it, because all those things actually have their own scale of 1 to 10. So your family has a scale of 1 to 10. How important is it for you to lead your family? 1 to 10. How important is your health? 1 to 10. How important is your friends? 1 to 10. So they're all different buckets, if you like. We're not talking about building your network marketing or achieving your goals at the cost of everything else, right? So I don't want you to listen to it from that point of view. The question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important it is for you to achieve your goals. And so what tends to happen is anything less than 10, what we're doing is we're leaving a little back door open just in case we don't get there, so we can manage ourselves. And one thing I've always known about leaving back doors open is that if you leave a back door open and things get a little bit difficult, you might have heard the saying, we always tend to run for the back door, right? And so why leave a back door open right now when you can just make a decision to actually go for it, right? Now, you may not know what that's going to look like. All we can control is the actions that we take on a daily basis. But then, of course, we start to, say things like, well, as I was saying before, achieving my network marketing goals, it's not the end of the world. I mean, there's always other things I can do. I mean, at the end of the day, at least I've got a job right now, and, I'm paying the bills, and, I know that there's trips that the company provides, and one day I know that, if I keep on going, at some point I may get there. But right now it doesn't really matter, because with this whole global pandemic, no one can travel anyway. And so we start to do something that Bob Proctor, who's my mentor for many years, calls ration-a-alies. Now, what we do is we start to rationalize ourselves out of our goals. Now, what does the word rationalize mean? You might be thinking to make reason of, right? But the way to spell rationalize, the way that Bob spells it, the way that I've learned to spell it, is to ration dash a dash lies to our mind. So we are rationing little lies to our mind. We can't go and travel anyway. It's not the end of the world. There's always going to be other ways that I can do it. Eventually, I'm going to get there. And so that's what we do when we say we're less than a 10. And so I want to ask you another question. If you're a parent, right, and you have children, and your children might be a little bit older now, think about this. When your kids were babies, if someone were to ask you, how important is it for you to raise your kids to be good, responsible citizens, to be healthy, to be nurtured, what might you have said? I have an inkling that you're probably going to be a 10 out of 10. And even though you might at the time not have known how you were going to do it, you may not have known all the challenges that would come along the way, growing, kids throwing tantrums, or maybe some of those difficult teenage years that some kids go through, whatever it may be. All these challenges were always going to be there, but you were still a 10 out of 10 as far as how important it is for you, because you don't know how, but you're committed, right? So this is no different. You may not know how you're going to build, you may not know what challenges may come, but it doesn't change the commitment that you make to yourself, the 10 out of 10. And the word commitment means nothing more than a personal promise that you make to yourself. That's all it is. It's a personal promise that you make to yourself, that you're going to follow through to take daily consistent action. Now, the other thing that gets in the way from you becoming, or you deciding to be a 10 out of 10, is that the whole picture of success may be very overwhelming to you. Like, you may not be able to fathom yourself being ranked, rank advancing or crossing the stage or generating passive income online, because you've never done that before, or certainly not to the level that you may want to. And so looking at that big picture can be quite overwhelming. And so what you want to do to make sure that if you have decided that maybe by now you've shifted from the 8 to a 10, I'm hoping that you have, and just decide to close that back door forever, is to actually decide to take small actions every day. Now, the interesting thing about taking small actions every day is that a small action, one small change every day, in and of itself may seem insignificant, but together, one stacking on top of the next can have a compounding effect. And that's what a compounding effect is, something we call a quantum leap. It's the overnight success that you hear people talk about. It's like, wow, he was an overnight success, she was an overnight success. And there is a point of overnight success, but it comes at that turning point of the J curve after taking those simple daily consistent actions on a daily basis. And a quick example of that is this. If I were to offer you, on one hand, $1 million that you could draw against for 31 days, and whatever's left is yours to keep. And on the other hand, I'll give you 1 penny to double every single day. So 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, and so forth. Which one would you take? Now, if you are like most people that want instant gratification might say, I'll take the $1 million now. And if you'd done that, that would have been okay, but it probably may not have been the best option. Because if you decided to take the 1 penny, 1 cent doubling every day, at the end of 31 days, you're going to have $10.7 million compared to just the $1 million, if anything is left, depending on how you invested that money. But what's interesting about this exercise is that as you start doubling your 1 cent every day, in 7 days, you only have 64 cents. In 8 days, you have $1.28. And if you decide not to take action on day 7 and double up to day 8, and just decide, you know what, I don't want to have, I want to have a break, I don't want to do this. I've been going at it for 7 days straight. I deserve to take care of myself. I deserve a break. What might be the impact on day 31? Right? If you decided to take a 64-cent break on day 7, on day 31, instead of having $10.7 million, you're actually only going to have 5.35. So a 64-cent break, when you think it matters least, is going to have a significant $5.3 million cost when it matters most. And when you have that understanding, all of a sudden you start to realize that every small action every single day is going to actually contribute to your end success or your goal achieved in terms of your network marketing business. The question then becomes is, what should those small actions be? Most people don't know what those small actions should be that they should take every day. Of course, part of it is connecting with people. Part of it is, engaging with your prospect, finding new friends, letting go sometimes of some friends that are not really engaging with you on social media, connecting with your tribe, learning, development, growing, sharing your opportunity, getting customers. So many things to be done on a daily basis, right? And if you're not quite sure what to do, inside of the social media launch formula training, which you can get access for free here on my profile, I actually go into detail and actually give you for free the perfect daily method of operation, where you know exactly what to do and in what percentages of time, irrespective of whether you're doing 5 hours or 2 hours a day. But anyway, that's for you to check out in your own time. But the message here is, how committed are you? So coming back to that, If you're not a 10, then decide to be a 10, because anything other than that, you're rationalizing. And a lot of that actually is your own inhibitions, your own limiting beliefs that come to play as well. So you want to just notice that, because there's no industry like this industry that's going to help you realize what it is that gets in the way, and then you can look to overcome those. If it's your team that's having these challenges, then support them by sharing this conversation, this video, so they can get a sense of how do they close the back door so they can do that. And the one other tip I want to share with you before I let you go here today is instead of setting a 12-month goal, so you might have a goal for 12 months, but I will break that down to 12 weeks. So I have 12-week goals. And the reason for 12-week goals is that there's a momentum that happens at the end of a period. So right now we're in December. We're about to embark, on a new year. And at this point, people started to get excited. There's a lot of traction. There's a lot of activity. So I want to finish the year strong, right? And then I want to, start January doing really well. But if we're doing a goal for 12 months, that only happens once a year. And if you miss the mark and you don't quite get there, now you're going to have to wait a whole 12 months again before you sort of look at where you're at and how did you go against your goal. Whereas if you're doing this over a 12-week period, you can actually have that momentum happening in just 12 weeks and have that excitement. And in 12 weeks' time, you can evaluate and not judge. So there's a difference between judging and evaluating, where you're just looking at what worked, what didn't work, and what can you learn from that. And then say, okay, this is what I've learned from the last 12 weeks. This is some of the course corrections that I have to make, and I'm going to go again for another 12 weeks. And if you do that, that means that you now have 4 opportunities in the year to actually achieve the big goal that you want. It might be a rank advancement, an income goal, people in your team, whatever it may be, right? And you can do that. So you've got 4 times in the year to do that. So I always recommend that you set 12-week goals as opposed to a whole year goal, because it sounds nice to say, yeah, in 12 months I'm going to be here, but then you've got to wait for that momentum unless you're taking action. And if you're following the simple one daily, I call them simple productive action, or SPAs, simple productive actions, that if you take every day are going to help you create that quantum leap. So let me know in the comments your thoughts. Does this resonate with you? Where were you at when you started to listen to this message? Were you anything less than 10? Why were you less than 10? Are you a 10 now? Or are you willing to be a 10 now, 10 out of 10, as far as building your network marketing business over the next 12 months? And if there's somebody in your team that needs to hear this message, or anybody else that you think of, that you think, they would benefit from this, by all means, share the love, share the message. Let's make a difference together. And if you're stuck in any part of building your business, you're not sure, then I invite you to reach out to me. We can hop on a Zoom call, have coffee over Zoom. I can see where you're at, see if I can give some guidance, no strings attached, just to help you on your way, and we can go from there. So hope this makes a difference for you. Thanks for being here, and have a great rest of your day. Take care, and bye for now.